All right, so let's look at the back of this. This side, we want to write an equation, so we're really going to look at a few of these. We're going to kind of skip around a little bit. So the first thing I want to do is look at a graph. Okay, so if I have a graph, I do want to draw in the asymptote. So the VA right here would be at probably -4. Okay, so x equals -4, so that's the VA, right? So I just make little notes here and there so that I know what's going on. And then if I had to draw a horizontal asymptote here, then that would probably be about 1. So the HA is y equals 1. Okay, so from the other side, we remembered that this is the C value and this is the D value, right? So when I do want to write this, I am probably using my parent function, y equals 1 over x. Okay, well, what did that little graph look like on that? It looks something like this, right? So this looks very similar, but we also have to notice that these are in different quadrants than our parent function. So what that means is this has been reflected about the x-axis. So we have to remember that the a value is going to be a negative value as well. So when I'm writing my equation, okay, then I start here. We know the a value is going to be negative, so I just throw a negative out there. And then my c value is -4. When I put it back into the equation, it's going to change to the opposite, so it's going to be +4. And then my d value stays the same, so it's a +1, so I'm going to put a +1 out here. So that's the equation for number 1. For number 3, okay, again, for my graph, I do notice that these go in kind of the same directions, so that means it derived from the equation 1 over x squared. So what I need to figure out is what is the c value and what is the d value here. Okay, so c and d of this function. So that is told to me by the asymptote. So the VA, the x is 0, so x equals 0, which is also the c value. And then right here, the horizontal asymptote is y equals 0, which is also the d value. Okay, so the only difference from this equation and this is this equation right here, if you remember, looked like that. So it was going up. So this one's down. So again, our equation will be y equals -1 over x squared. Okay, and then what I do want to talk about is this over here. I'm going to kind of skip the tables until I get back, and I'll explain the tables a little bit easier when I get back in class next week. So we'll skip down to number 6. Okay, so number 6 gives us the VA and the HA. Okay, so all we have to remember is this is the C value, this is the D value, and so I just plug it into my equation. Y equals 1 over x. My C is a -2, so it becomes +2, and my D value is +4. So this is the equation for my VA of -2 and HA of 4. Okay, and then same thing right here, the domain is basically my VA. So my VA here, if you notice, it goes from -infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity. So my vertical asymptote is x equals 0. And then my range right here, y equals 3, is my HA. So this is the VA, HA. Once I know these two values, it becomes a problem just like number 6. Y equals 1 over x. I have to fill in my c value, 0, so I don't need to write anything. My y value here, or d, would be +3 at the end. And then here's some end behaviors. So it says the left approaches 2 and the right approaches 2. So when we think about this as x left, the end behavior left approaches 2. So that talks about when x is approaching -infinity, what does this approach to? So this is going to be the HA. the horizontal asymptote of 2. And so the right approaches that same value. So the HA is 2. Tells me nothing about the VA, the vertical asymptote. So, so we're just going to leave that alone. Y equals X, and then we have plus 2 up here for the HA.